This is Umar Ahmed for IFL TV, proudly sponsored by Everlast. Sorry for making Johnny reduce the music in there. It sounded like a nightclub before we started this.
That's how we roll, man. It's like this is. I'm happy with this. I'm seeing everybody complain about the web. I'm like, are you mad? It's like I'm living it out. It's like I'd have to pay to go on holiday. I'm a tight ass Yorkshireman, aren't I?
It was hotter here than in the Middle East, so yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
It felt like Jamaica earlier on. All right, dry heat, and the dogs were on the floor, just like no, just looking at me. Papa, help me! I bought one of those cool mats for the dog. They won't even go on it. It's just like looking at it. So I just sat on it.
Anyways, Johnny, firstly, I want to say thanks for that video you sent me. Out of everyone, I think you and Josh Taylor sent the best video messages. My mate who fought on the weekend, the good luck messages.
Yeah.
Yours was proper. Yeah.
You know what? I think, was it his first fight? Was it his first?
Yeah, it's just a white collar fight he did. Yeah, he won on points. I think he might do it again, but he's not a professional or anything. It was just a one-off.
Well, that's good. You know, and the thing is, I think when people go into that sort of stuff, as long as they relax and enjoy it, then they'll enjoy it. That's why they go into it. But if they get all tense and uptight about it, they'll be shattered. They might be liable to get hurt, win or lose, and enjoy it. So I'm glad he won. If he does it again, that's cool. If I'm ever around when he's doing it again, you just remind me and drag me down. I'll come down and watch him.
Big card next weekend, live on Sky Sports in Bournemouth, Johnny, in your division. I say it as if you're still active, but your former division, Chris Billam-Smith and Isaac Chamberlain. This is 50-50 on paper, isn't it?
Love this fight. You know what, Isaac, it's no secret, I've always been a massive supporter of Isaac Chamberlain, and after he lost to Lawrence Okoli, he had to go back, lick his wounds, and go back to the drawing board, and that's what he's done. He's done a lot under the radar, boxed a lot for Mick Hennessy on Channel 5. He's done what he's had to do, and Chris Billam-Smith, tough cookie. I think he's still with the McGuigans. And so, as you say, it's a good 50-50. You look at the resume of where both fighters have been. Isaac, even before he boxed Okoli, he spent a lot of time sparring with Wilder. And those guys are good friends. I'm thinking, you know, when you first told me, I thought, I don't believe you. But it's true. We spent a lot of time out there sparring with Wilder. And if you can navigate your way through a big puncher like Wilder, and you know, I understand why he fancied his chances against Lawrence Okoli. So for Isaac, I think now might be his time to shine. I think it might be a bit too early for him to fight Lawrence Okoli. I'm quite sure that could happen again down the line. He has the resume. He has the confidence. He has the variety in his style. For Chris Billam-Smith, again, it's been a slow process for him. He's grown in confidence, grown in his ability, and so as I said, it's two different styles, and it's a case of whose world's going to come on top. This is a good, even fight on paper.
Yeah, it definitely is. And a card full of names as well. Fraser Clark returns. Ben Whittaker makes his debut. How excited are you to see Whittaker finding a professional ring?
Well, now's when the journey really begins. Whittaker might have thought, I've done it in the amateurs. No, I actually don't think he did. I think he used the amateurs as a good springboard to big school. That's the pro ranks. If he can back up the boast, back up the persona that he's created, Whittaker can be a big star. Because in a sense, I see the attitude, I see the chip on the shoulder, I see the arrogance that shines through. I see that I don't give a shit about him. And I actually like that. And certain fighters, if you want to stand out, you've got to have something about you. And he's got that something about him. All he's got to do is have the ability to back up the boast. As in Fraser Clark, I think Fraser Clark is a good student of the game. I think he's used to being like the captain of the Olympic squad and of the fighters that represent our country in amateurs. Now he's turned pro, and I understand he's not done anything as a pro yet, but he's very wise coming through at this stage in his career. And I don't know how far Fraser Clark will go as a professional fighter, but I do know as a voice of reasoning, of understanding, and knowing all the fighters that are around, he's probably one of the best people around to actually understand the game. And most of these fighters that we see up there, the names that were there, he's spelled with them. He's familiar with them. So he's an uncut diamond, Fraser. And so it's a kind of, we're going to see what direction he goes in as he goes up in the ranks.
We'll definitely tune into Sky Sports next Saturday for that from Bournemouth. So yeah, that'll be a good night's of action. Johnny, strong reports going around that Chris Eubank Jr. and Conor Benn, it's done. The only sticking point is the rehydration clause. But people saying within the sport, they feel like they can figure that out and the fight will happen. Your thoughts on that clash?
Well, the size is the big issue. Is it 154, 158's made that?
156.
156. So he's got to be 11-2. Yeah, that's a big shout. That's a big shout for Chris to get down to that and see what the rehydration clause is. Will he, once the dotted line's been signed, will he forfeit that and still come in a little over? I don't know. This is the same argument with Kellen Khan. I think the only issue there is size. I think ability-wise, that's career-wise, he's proved, you know what, I'm now up a level. As in Conor Benn, again, he's one of the fighters where you just can't underestimate him. I think Conor Benn is probably the most improved UK fighter I have seen in the last 4 or 5 years, however 4 years, however long it's been boxing. And like his own man, you look at him, you think, look at the size of his own man to Chris. You look at the opponent sat in front of him. So I don't think size for him will be an issue. I think, but he's in there with an absolute engine in Chris Jr. Chris Jr. Will want to put him under pressure, put him under it. So it's about the volume of punches thrown, how each fighter will react to being hit. Because I'm quite sure both fighters will get hit. Both fighters are tough. Both fighters are determined. I think this rehydration clause, I want to see how it'll affect Chris, and if he sticks to it, what kind of fight it'll be. But you've got two fighters there that are in a position where you have to respect them, regardless of how iconic their parents have been. These are probably the few fighters that have had iconic parents in our game that have managed to get the respect, the full, true respect of the public, instead of them saying, "Now you're not as good as your dad." They've got their own in their own right. They think, now you look at it and think, you know what, I've got to give it to him. And regardless, Ricky's son, Chris Jr., Conor, all these guys, when they've had fathers that have been big names, they are going to get criticised more than anybody. Because these guys are born with a silver spoon in their mouth. So it's hard for fighters to respect them, how they should be respected. It's hard for the public to respect them because you think you're only there because your parents. Now, Chris and Conor have now earned that. They've earned that. So you've got to forget about the parents. So this fight, if it lives up to expectations, it could be history repeating itself. And so you've got two more educated versions of their fathers that can fight.
Johnny, for many, many years, of course, us boxing fans have been used to pay-per-view fights being on Sky Sports box office. I know the odd occasion has happened where Tyson Fury has fought recently on BT Sport box office, and I think Chris Eubank Jr., James DeGale was an ITV pay-per-view, but this will be DAZN'S first pay-per-view in the UK. How do you think that does on pay-per-view, Eubank Jr. and Benn on DAZN?
Well, it depends on what side of the fence you're looking at. So I'm looking at it from a boxing fan. As an ex-fighter, so I'll watch it. But you do pay-per-view because you're trying to get the casuals to tune in, and so it's the reach. It's the reach of the broadcasters to get a hold of the casuals. Now, unless you're going to spend a shitload of money on external advertising, like buying an advert on ITV, I don't know how much it costs for 30 seconds or whatever, unless you're going to do stuff like that, which cuts into the money what you make from pay-per-view. I don't know how they're going to do that. And again, look, I was probably criticised. I might have been a bit wrong in regards to saying the reach of DAZN. DAZN are there, if you know DAZN, you know DAZN. It's simple as that. But it's that crossover appeal that that gets you the dough in on your pay-per-view, as far as I understand it. So again, I can only speak from my point of view, and that is as an ex-fighter, as a fight fan, I'll watch it. My only concern is it's gaining hold of the casuals, capturing their imagination. I think that'll be the only problem.
Welcome, Team Everlast, to the Team Everlast Fitness app. Download the Everlast Fitness app and find your greatness within.